She called me heartless for not saving her from the jail she put herself in, then launched a podcast about it. Hi, I'm Isaac, 32, and 3 months ago, I thought I was marrying the love of my life. Instead, I watched my fiancé get arrested in Los Angeles for blowing $11,000 at a nightclub, then tried to Venmo request me for bail at 2:47 a.m. That was the moment I knew, this woman didn't want a husband. She wanted an emergency credit card with a pulse. And what happened after I said, "Call your daddy," and hung up? Buckle in. Vicky always had expensive taste and a tragic backstory to justify it. "My family's toxic," she'd say. "They cut me off because I wouldn't join the family real estate business." Meanwhile, her apartment was stocked with designer everything, and her idea of budgeting was, put it on a card and manifest the payment. We'd been together 2 years. Engaged for 7 months. I make about $95,000 in industrial equipment sales. She made about half that in boutique PR, yet somehow, she lived like she had a black Amex. From the start, I was paying dinner, Uber rides, spa weekends, even her car maintenance. There was always a reason. A late paycheck, a slow month, a bad client. She'd act embarrassed for 5 seconds, then scroll TikTok like nothing happened. Meanwhile, I'm covering dinner again at the steakhouse she picked. Everyone warned me. Best friend Rai said, "Bro, she's going to drain you dry, then blame you for being broke." My sister Raven, who's a lawyer and allergic to BS, took one look at Vicky and said, "She's just replacing her family's money with yours. She doesn't want a partner. She wants a provider." But I ignored them. Thought love meant pushing through the hard stuff. What I didn't know then was how hard she'd push. When her sorority friends got involved, see, her circle, Allison, Paige, Megan, and Courtney were the worst. All married to hedge fund babies or finance guys. All living off generational money. Their favorite hobby? Making Vicky feel poor. They'd book $4,000 Aspen ski trips and pretend she was invited just to hear her squirm. They once laughed when she said she had to check her work schedule. One actually said, "Oh right, you work. We forgot." And Vicky just took it. She'd cry after, vent to me about how they made her feel like trash, but then go right back to trying to impress them. She was addicted to their approval like it was oxygen. I tried telling her, "They're not your friends," but she just wouldn't let go. Then came the engagement party that broke the illusion. Allison's fiancé gave her a ring the size of a marble and threw a party on a rooftop that looked like a wedding reception. Vicky borrowed a dress for the occasion, spent $250 on hair and makeup, and spent the night comparing herself to the other women. On the drive home, she was silent. Then she said, "Must be nice, not having to worry about money." And that's when I knew she was starting to see me not as her man, but as her limitation. Then came the bachelorette trip to LA. She didn't ask if we could afford it. She told me she was going, and when I pushed back, "You're trying to control me. If you loved me, you'd want me to have fun. This is the only time in my life I get to be celebrated." That trip, supposedly paid for by her dad. Spoiler, it wasn't. Want to hear how $11,000 in club charges, 1 arrest, and 143 missed calls led to the most legendary breakup I've ever pulled off? Thursday morning, she left for LA like a celebrity fleeing paparazzi. 2 full-size suitcases, 1 carry-on bursting with makeup, 3 going-out outfits per night. She kissed me on the cheek like she was doing me a favor and said, "Try not to burn the apartment down." I spent the day chilling, ordered Thai, caught up on Better Call Saul, lived like a man, temporarily free from emotional taxation. Then came her stories. First night, dinner at Nobu Malibu, premium sushi, cocktails, full bottle service. Not exactly the budget-friendly Airbnb trip she described. Friday, pool cabanas at the Beverly Hills Hotel, $800 a day minimum. Saturday morning, shopping on Rodeo Drive. I recognized a St. Laurent bag in her hand that cost more than my monthly car payment. The math didn't add up. I texted Rai a screenshot of her sipping champagne with the "Living My Best Life" caption. He replied instantly, "Start planning your exit strategy. This is going to end horribly." Raven called me an hour later. "Tell me you're not paying for any of this." "Nope." She said her dad's covering it. Raven laughed. Her dad, who hasn't spoken to her in 3 years? She's racking up debt like she's auditioning for Real Housewives of Delusion. I shrugged. Let her learn the hard way. And boy, did she. Saturday night, I crashed early. Phone on silent. I had errands to run Sunday, and honestly, I was looking forward to a quiet morning. Instead, I woke up to a notification. Tsunami, missed calls, voicemails, frantic texts. Some from Vicky, some from numbers I didn't recognize. All time stopped around 2:30 a.m., then the kicker. Voicemail from Deputy Lopez, LA County Sheriff's Department. At first, I thought it was a prank. Until I hit play. We have your fiancée, Vicky Bryant, in custody. She asked us to contact you regarding bail options. I paused the message. Bail? I opened her most recent text. My card declined. Club won't let us leave. Venmo me $3,000 now, or they're calling the cops. I sat there in bed blinking at my phone like it was speaking another language. Then I replayed the voicemail, sat up, replayed the message again, and started laughing. Not a chuckle, not a smirk, a full, cathartic, what is my life laugh. Because suddenly, it all made sense. The fake daddy funding, the clubbing spree, the luxury delusion, and now, consequences.so when she called again at 2:47 a.m., screaming over EDM beats about how I had to send her money. I said the most liberating words I've ever spoken. Call your dad. Then I turned off my phone, slept like a baby, woke up Sunday morning to hellfire. Want to see how the fallout hit harder than a Real Housewives reunion brawl? By Sunday, my phone was foaming at the mouth. 1 for 3 missed calls, dozens of texts, 6 voicemails from numbers I didn't recognize, 1 sobbing audio message from Vicky that ended with, I will never forgive you. But the highlight was Deputy Lopez calling me back. Sir, are you sure you're not posting bail? Your fiancée was quite insistent. I stayed calm. She's not my fiancée anymore. She can call her father. Long pause. Copy that. For the record, she's facing theft of services and disorderly conduct. There may also be restitution involved. Translation, she owed the $11,000 club tab, and she'd made things worse by arguing with security, then fighting the responding officers, somewhere between tequila shots and bottle service. Vicky had turned into the world's most glamorous criminal. I hung up and called Rye. He picked up laughing. Please tell me you didn't bail her out. Didn't pay a cent, he howled. Bro, this is better than anything I've ever seen on Netflix. We hung up. Then I got to work. Step 1. Screenshot every Instagram story Vicky and her friends had posted since. Thursday Nobu dinner $900 pool cabana. Designer bags on Rodeo Drive rooftop club table with Dom P. Rignal time-stomped. All public. All damning. Step 2. Venmo history. Her account was public. I counted dozens of payments that weekend alone. To clubs, car rentals, luxury brands. All with captions like, Baccalaureate to Betty's, and We Out Sadi. Screenshotted everything. Step 3. Apartment sweep. I started gathering her stuff clothes. Heels, random beauty products. That one crystal lamp, she said, aligned her chakras. I found something wedged under the bathroom sink. A credit card statement. $14,372 in debt. Minimum payments circled. Some red due dates. She hadn't paid a dime in weeks. Next to it, a handwritten list titled, Cards I Can Still Use. With notes like, Amex equals almost maxed, Cap 1 equals use in emergencies. Discover equals backup club card. I took pictures of everything. Rye came over that afternoon, helped me box it all up. We labeled every item, took photos, made an inventory. Because I already knew what was coming next. Her parents. Sure enough, Monday morning got a call from Vicky's mom. Sweet woman, always polite. Isaac, we heard there was an incident. She says you changed the locks? Yes, ma'am. The engagement is off. Her belongings will be delivered to your house today. Pause. You have the ring? I'd like it back. She says it's hers. Then I'll report it as stolen property. She paused again, then sighed. I'll talk to her. By Wednesday, her dad showed up in a Lexus, handed me the ring in its original box, and said nothing, didn't even make eye contact. I took the ring straight to the jeweler. Got a full refund. 6,000 back in my account. No guilt, no regrets. But just when I thought the storm had peaked, Raven stepped in. She slid into the booth at our favorite bar, smug as hell, holding her phone like a trophy. So, I might have posted the screenshots and tagged her boss. I nearly choked on my drink. You what? Just letting the universe work. Apparently, boutique PR firms don't love when their employees post criminal activity on their Instagram stories during a sick day. Want to see what happened when Vicky lost more than a fianc? Thursday morning, I got a text from Vicky's roommate. FYI, she just got fired, followed by a screenshot of an email from her boss that said, effective immediately. Your employment with Bell and Bloom PR is terminated due to conduct that reflects poorly on the company. Turns out, when your Instagram is filled with rooftop lounges, club receipts, and arrest records, while you're technically on medical leave, it doesn't go over well in the world of public relations. I sent Raven a single text. You are terrifying, she replied with a smiley face and the words, you're welcome. Meanwhile, Vicky was unraveling. She sent me a 2-page text, unhinged and typo-riddled. I hope you're happy. You destroyed my life. Over one mistake. You let me sit in jail like I was nothing. My friends are ditching me. My parents are making me see a financial therapist. You ruined everything. I didn't reply. Instead, I spent Friday night with Rye and Raven on my couch, eating tacos and watching Die Hard like normal people. Until the doorbell rang, Rye checked the camera and went, no way. I looked. Vicky, standing on my porch, makeup smudged, hair in full panic bun, dress clearly pulled out of a laundry basket. Behind her, Megan and Paige, trying and failing to look invisible. She started pounding. Isaac, I know you're in there. We need to talk. I turned up the TV, even sipped her drink, completely unfazed. Do not open that door. Didn't. Obviously, Vicky pounded for 10 more minutes, alternating between crying and yelling things like, this isn't you. You're not a monster. You left me in jail. You're throwing away 2 years for one bad night. Rye leaned over. She says it like she cheated on a test, not racked up $11,000 in club charges and assaulted security. Eventually, Vicky left, but not before sending 8 texts. The final one, I'll never forgive you for this. You'll regret it. Saturday morning, her friends made one last Hail Mary. Allison posted an Instagram story that said, real men don't abandon women when they're struggling. Paige shared a quote about financial abuse hiding in plain sight. Megan posted a picture of Vicky with the caption, a real queen deserves better. Rye rolled his eyes so hard he pulled a muscle. So we hit back. He posted a single screenshot to his story. Since we're talking about abandonment, attached was a photo of Vicky's Venmo transactions. $800 Luna Club bottle service, $450 designer heels, $675 rodeo shopping, all with captions like #spoiled and #bacheloretteboss. Then Raven followed up with her own story. Love isn't financial rescue. Boundaries aren't abuse. Choices have consequences. By Sunday, the friend group had collapsed. Courtney left the group chat. Megan unfollowed Vicky. Allison posted a story that said, cutting toxic people out of my life. Starting fresh. Even Paige, who'd previously defended her, got slapped with a $4,000 invoice from her own husband, who'd helped front Vicky's club bill under false pretenses. Apparently, he wanted reimbursement now that Vicky was officially canceled. And Vicky? She'd gone quiet. Too quiet. Want to see how she exploded back into my life one last time? In public, heels, and screaming like an unpaid reality star. Friday night, Rye convinced me to go out. You've been sitting in post-breakup peace for 2 weeks. Time to rejoin the living. Raven was meeting us at a new rooftop lounge downtown with some of her coworkers. I wasn't in the mood to party, but figured, what's the worst that could happen? I swear, the universe heard me. The lounge was packed, stylish, buzzing with music and skyline views. I was mid-conversation with one of Raven's coworkers who was, by the way, both gorgeous and gainfully employed when I heard it. Are you kidding me right now? I turned, and there she was. Vicky, 10 feet away. Hair wild, makeup smeared. That same rumpled black dress, like she was starring in a gritty reboot of Pretty Woman, the Breakdown edition. And behind her, like cursed bridesmaids from hell, Megan and Paige. Vicky stormed toward me, nearly tripping in her heels. You've been ignoring my calls for 2 weeks. We need to talk. Now. The entire section of the rooftop went dead silent. People turned. Phones came out. Rai leaned in and whispered, "Oh, it's happening. Vicky, you need to leave." "Leave? You destroyed my life, and you think you can just tell me to leave? You destroyed your own life. I just stopped paying for the wreckage. That set her off. You left me in jail. What kind of man does that?" Someone nearby muttered, "Dang, she got arrested?" His friend replied, "This is better than reality TV." Vicky whipped around. "Mind your own business." The guy held up his hands. "You're screaming in public. This is our business now." She turned back to me, mascara dripping. "You enjoy this, don't you? You love watching me fall apart." "I'm not watching anything. You showed up uninvited, screaming like it's your one-woman show." That's when Raven stepped forward, calm and terrifying. "Vicky, I strongly suggest you walk away, right now, before this gets worse." Vicky spun on her. "Stay out of this. There is no this anymore. Isaac ended it weeks ago. You showing up in public doesn't change that. Move on." "I lost my job. My friends hate me. My parents are making me see a financial therapist." Rai couldn't help himself. "That's tough." Vicky lunged. "Not joking." She tried to lunge at him. Megan and Paige grabbed her arms, pulling her back, but she yanked free, got right in my face. "I gave you 2 years of my life. We were planning a wedding, and you threw it all away because I made one mistake?" "One mistake? That was a lifestyle. You're supposed to love someone through their worst moments." Raven cut in like a scalpel. "Love doesn't mean becoming a human ATM for someone with a spending addiction." Someone in the crowd yelled, "She's right." A few people clapped. One guy shouted, "Yikes," loud enough for everyone to hear. Vicky suddenly realized she was losing the room. Want to see how she went down swinging? In front of 80 strangers, cell phones, and free appetizers on the house? Vicky froze, eyes darting around the rooftop like a trapped animal. The crowd wasn't on her side. Phones were up. People were recording. Even the DJ had killed the music. Then she spun back to me, voice cracking, half sob, half snarl. "How can you just stand there like you don't even care? You're cruel. You're heartless." I turned back toward the bar. Didn't say a word. Didn't even look at her. That broke her. She stormed up behind me, grabbed my shoulder, tried to spin me around. "Don't you dare turn your back on me." And that's when security stepped in. 2 guys in black shirts flanked her like they'd been summoned from a sitcom. "Ma'am, you need to leave." "I'm not leaving. He owes me an explanation." "Ma'am, if you don't leave voluntarily, we'll have to escort you out." She tried to shake them off. "Get your hands off me. Do you know who I am?" One security guy looked at the other. "Yeah, someone about to get banned from this place." The crowd lost it. Laughter, applause. One guy even whistled. Paige and Megan were mortified. They grabbed her arms, hissing, "Vicky, let's go. You're making it worse." But she wasn't done. Even while being pulled toward the exit, she was still shouting over her shoulder, "This isn't over, Isaac. You ruined my life. I'll never forgive you. You're gonna regret this." Rai, without missing a beat, called back, "I don't think he will." Security walked her toward the door as she screamed the entire way. People filmed it like it was the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Right before she hit the exit, she made one last desperate lunge, tripped over her heels, and fell into Paige, sending them both stumbling sideways. Gasps. Then, laughter. Loud, glorious, unanimous. The doors finally closed behind her. Silence for a second, then someone started slow clapping. Within seconds, half the lounge joined in. Free appetizers magically arrived from the manager. Someone bought us a round of drinks. Strangers came up to high-five me, say, "Respect," ask if it was scripted. I just stood there, stunned. Not because I was embarrassed, but because for the first time in years, I didn't feel responsible for someone else's chaos. Raven leaned in. "That was better than therapy." I was howling. "You cannot make this up, bro. This was actual performance art. I'm never deleting this video." I didn't even feel guilty. Not anymore. I tried to be a partner, tried to set boundaries, tried to build something real. She wanted a luxury lifestyle with none of the work, and I was the last man standing between her and reality. Now, reality had caught up, and all I had to do was get out of the way. Want to see what happened after the viral fallout? the financial therapist, and her final desperate attempt to rewrite history? Yep, there's more. The video hit Twitter by midnight. Someone captioned it, POV, girl gets kicked out of rooftop bar after screaming at her ex-fiancé for not bailing her out of jail. By morning, it had 300,000 views. By lunch, it was on TikTok, soundtracked with, "You should see me in a crown." And the comments? Brutal. He dodged a luxury grenade. She really said, "You're heartless while owing 14 grand in designer shoes." This is not main character energy. This is season finale villain meltdown. Vicky went radio silent for 3 days. Then, one last gasp. Sunday night, she unblocked me and sent a voice memo. Her tone? Calm. Too calm. You know, the kind where someone's trying to sound healed, but is one deep breath away from throwing furniture? Isaac, I've done a lot of thinking. I realize I made mistakes. I let the wrong people influence me. But you humiliated me. Publicly. You enjoyed it. You could have just ended things quietly. But you wanted revenge. Then the kicker. I'm starting a podcast to tell my side. About what it's like to be abandoned by the person you love. Maybe you should listen. You might learn something about yourself. I didn't reply, but Rai sent me the trailer 2 days later. Title? Broken, Not Broke. Surviving Narcissistic Love. Tagline: when love turns toxic and the world takes his side. We all sat in my living room, crying, laughing. She turned a breakup into a brand, Raven said. This is performance art, Rai wheezed. I'd subscribe. The first episode dropped that Friday. She called me Isaac the investor, a man who spent 8 months buying her loyalty, then cashed out emotionally the second she needed him. She claimed she'd been a victim of financial manipulation, withholding, and social shaming. My favorite line? If love doesn't come with luxury, is it even real? The comments were savage. Sis, you got arrested at a club. Maybe chill on the TED Talk. You weren't in a relationship. You were in a subscription plan. And the free trial ended. Her podcast never made it past episode 3. Want to see how it really ended when I got closure, peace, and the most unexpected DM of my life? You know the drill. One more to go. 3 weeks after Broken, Not Broke fizzled out, the dust finally settled. Vicky's Instagram was private. Her social media consulting website offline. Mutual friends stopped texting. Even Paige and Megan had fully ghosted her. Apparently Paige's husband made her write a handwritten apology to get access to their shared account again. Me? I was thriving. That $800 a month I used to spend keeping Vicky's lifestyle afloat, now, it was going toward my real goals. I'd paid off my car, bought a gaming PC I'd been putting off, started building a down payment fund, switched to a credit card that gave me points for once. Then, out of nowhere, a DM from someone named Eliza, mutual friend of Raven's, said she'd seen the chaos unfold, and that my restraint was actually impressive. You deserve someone who doesn't turn every dinner into a finance negotiation. We met for coffee. She insisted on paying. I nearly cried into my cappuccino. We've been dating for a couple months now. She has a job, a budget, and a sense of humor sharp enough to slice a Louis Vuitton bag in half. She once joked, I promise not to get you arrested or make you trend on TikTok, unless it's for something fun. I told her that was already the hottest thing anyone had ever said to me. The final update came through Vicky's roommate Taylor, who sent one last message. She's living back with her parents now. They made her cut up 5 credit cards and meet with the financial counselor weekly. She's working part-time at a dog grooming place. Still talking about launching a podcast comeback. But I think reality finally caught up. Good. Because here's the thing. I didn't destroy her life. I just stopped funding the fantasy. And when she tried to drag me down with her, the world for once handed her the invoice.so to every guy out there being told he's cheap for having boundaries. Keep receipts. Protect your peace. And remember, you're not an ATM with emotional support features. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is a very public no. Peace out, kings. And yes, the Venmo request is still pending.